Hello guys, welcome back to Sim UK. This is SimAirport. Again, I've played an awful lot and you guys seem to be enjoying the series. And then over the last couple of weeks, maybe a month, loads and loads of new exciting games were released, and I didn't forget about this game. Well, I did. I forgot about this game for a bit, which is a shame. But the other day I was happy to see that the devs at SimAirport have indeed made some updates or released some updates, which is fantastic. Now, I'm just trying to remember where we were. Obviously, we finished off this one, what I'm going to call the not the security area, like first class lounge area over here at gate Q1. We do need to build some expansion here. We've got the fuel on. I kind of wanted to make this video and just go through all the stuff that they changed, but I watched the video by the devs, and do you know what? It was pretty hard going. It was pretty difficult to stay tuned in enough to mentally absorb everything they were saying. I'm a little bit colded up. I'm not flued up. I'm colded up today, so I'm not feeling 100%. So please excuse any funny sounds that I might make, or coughs or splutters or whatever. I'm trying just not to do that, but we'll see how it goes. Two important things that they have produced, which is quite cool, is the ability to intersect runways, so you can overlay them, which is more realistic and therefore a very good feature. And they've also included a one-way system for aircraft, which is kind of cool as well, I guess. It's not really going to help us a great deal unless I shift out these two runways and maybe expand them out this way. That could work. But I mean, we've got a fairly successful airport, don't we? We've got $1 million in the bank, which isn't a lot. I mean, that's pittance. But, you know, bear in mind that in the last episode we did build this entire section out, so let's just do this. Oh, this is another thing they did. I've been a little bit disappointed with the system for assigning stuff. Sometimes it gets complicated and tricky, and it's not easy to work with. But they've done some work on that, and they're about to release the UI. Now, I'm extremely excited to see the UI, because what's the problem here? Requires a door. Oh, it never used to complain about that. It's good that they do, though, because otherwise you'd miss stuff, wouldn't you? Door. Have I put doors on all the others? I have. Good. So yeah, there's been some performance improvements, and also they're going to bring out a totally new UI. Now, they seem pretty excited about the UI, so in turn that makes me quite excited about the UI, which just goes to show that I'm more of a sheep than I thought I was. How much is this land expansion here? 1.8 million. Holy molios. Well, we won't be doing that just yet then. Well, that's a tad annoying. I was going to rebuild. I think this entire taxiway needs addressing. We could make such a brilliant one-way system here. Maybe just taking out the small runway will do it. They're also bringing in GA aircraft, general aviation aircraft, which is quite an interesting feature. Obviously, that's something that's featured quite heavily in, I suppose you could say, their opponent, which is Airport CEO. Incidentally, they've just announced a new update, although their changelogs are rather vague. I find SimAirport's changelogs to be a bit more concise, and there's definitely more clarity around what it is they've actually done, which is a cool thing. Right, well, I tell you what, we've got all these gates here. Perhaps I ought to fill them with aircraft. Let's just have a look here. It's been a while since I've played this. There's supposed to be a new thing up here, actually, for fuel. So I'm just wondering whether I'm running the beta update but I don't seem to have any of the new features. Maybe they haven't released them yet. Oh, well, that's annoying. I was really looking forward to making a one-way system down here, but it looks like they haven't released it. I mean, that shows how much attention I was paying to that video. It looks as though they have not released it yet. Foundation. Oh, look at this. They got new icons. Concrete runway. See, now that was one of the things that they added. Taxiway direction tool. So the update has been released, but there's supposed to be something up here, like a drop down. Damn it, there's a sharp bit on the edge of my desk there. It's cutting my wrist open. People are going to think I'm self-harming. That's bad. And I'm not making a joke of that. I'm sorry. That seemed a bit... I really wish I hadn't said that, actually. Let's move on, because there was no malice intended in that statement. Okay, so we do have the taxiway direction tool. Yeah, up here, like, you've got the bank balance drop down with useful information. You've got passenger satisfaction, which is pretty good at the moment. Seems like they're hungry and not happy with their environment, which is a tad frustrating, because there's food outlets everywhere, and, you know, I've tried to make it as pretty as possible. Anyway, we'll come back to those in a minute. So you've got airline interest, which actually doesn't tell you that much, and then the weather, which at the moment doesn't really have any effect on the game, I don't think. You can see there that they've got the active runways, but it's possible that runways can get shut down if the weather conditions are too dramatic. So I'm assuming that if you have too much of a crosswind, they'd shut this runway down, and then you'd have to just use this one, which means that you can't have landing arrivals, departure. You'd have to have one that copes with both, basically, is what we're looking at there. So yeah, it would be nice if we made some money, wouldn't it? Because 1 million is definitely not enough. And you can, I think you can also use runways as taxiways. I think that is now an option too. So there's a lot to look at. But like I say, although I watched their entire video, I kind of nodded off halfway through, probably like most of you are doing right now with this one. And therefore it didn't really resonate with me that well. I mean, it resonated with me, I just can't remember anything that they said. It's basically the problem. So what are we going to do here? See, this medium runway here would be perfect as a taxiway, so that I could get like a loop system going around this small runway. That would be absolutely superb. But is it viable? I mean, I need to put another runway this way, and in order to do that I'm going to have to buy this piece of land, which is 1.8 million. So I think we're going to have to get these sorted out. So let's get some airlines interested in. Crikey, it has been a while since I played this, and I feel a little bit like I don't know where I am. I think another thing they're doing, let me just test this. So if I drag that out like so, because that's how I'd like to see it, and then I close it, when I open it again it should be the same. Yeah. So I mean, little fixes like that they've included, which is pretty cool, because it is a bit of a pain in the, or it was, it's not anymore, a bit of a pain in the backside to have to keep dragging it up. Look at this, there's like a, oh no, what is that? Is that just highlighting a fence or something? I don't know what that is. Let's drag this out so that we can see. Now, it'd be really cool if they could make this fit, because at the moment it doesn't really, does it? So, how many extra gates do I have here? Absolutely tons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've just almost doubled the size. In fact, I think we've doubled the size of the airport by adding this new area up here. Shall we actually finish this area off? Let's focus on finishing this area off before we need some. Oh, look at this, finance VP. We've got loads of new stuff now. This whole research area, this is all going to be updated and improved as part of the UI update. Construction foreman. Oh wow, I think we'll have some of that, please. Advanced security systems, advanced ticketing systems. Oh man, there's going to be loads, isn't there? There's going to be loads of stuff. Lower interest rates. Don't really need that because I tend not to borrow money. Ah, VP of Finance. Bum. I did that one last. I meant to do that one first. A janitor. Oh, the image there. Ramp agents. We better have a couple of ramp agents, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ramp agents. And they're off. Look at that. Immediately off onto the runway. Is that because somebody's stuck? No, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know where they're going. Basically, as I understand it, the ramp agents technically, how can I explain it? They, if an aircraft gets stuck, like sometimes they do, look at that, just driving over these trucks. If it gets stuck, then the ramp agents go and release it, or something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now I don't think that staff go and have breaks and time off and holidays and stuff. Well, that's weird. Nobody seems to be doing anything. Why are these passengers sat here? Why are you sat here? That must be miles away from your flight. Abort and reconsider. There's also supposed to be a lot more information about passengers, so should you be able to zoom in on a passenger? Get rid of that a second, see if I can do it. See, that's the problem, is you have to keep your mouse over them in order to see what they're thinking, which is not a good design because that's tricky as hell. You have to watch the passenger and not look at the information, which is no good to you at all. So maybe there's just not enough seating over here. Let's put some more seats in here. Maybe that's what the problem is. Oh look, we've got some new benches in here. Let's go with the new benches just because they're new. Let's just go down the entire length of this wall. I think that makes a lot of sense. And also, yeah, that's another thing they've done. Let me just see if I can do this, if I have enough money. So there was this whole foundation building issue. That was a nightmare. You built it and then you had to fix it, basically, didn't you? So 449,000. That is a lot of money, but we need to do it. So let's just go ahead and do that. So you'll find that now when it builds it, it will build it and take that wall out. You won't have double walls and stuff. At least that's what they said in the video. So I assume that's the case. I assume that's how that's going to work. Now I'm a bit concerned about this security area because what we've done technically is just massively increase the number of potential passengers that are going to be coming through here. And I'm not sure that this security system is going to be able to cope with such a huge number of passengers coming through. It might make sense that I expand it all the way up to here and we split it into 2 sections and run it in a slightly better way, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see how well it goes. Another thing they mentioned in the video is that the carousels are going to have a maximum amount that they can handle, so the more flights and passengers you have, the more carousels you're going to need. At the moment you only need 1 and it will manage every single piece of baggage on the planet, it seems. Oh, this is another new thing, taxis, which is cool. Also there was some discussion, I'm not sure why that's purple, that's a bit weird. There was also some discussion around the fact that once your public transport, buses and trains and whatnot are full up, then you'll see more passenger cars and taxis and so on and so forth. So I mean, it's all pretty good, cool stuff. I am liking it a great deal. It's looking pretty awesome, actually. I think what we might do here... Now, another thing pickups, you can see I've got it running the entire length of the entrance here, which seemed like a brilliant idea, except for the fact that they only pick up down the bottom. Or, well, no, they've picked up a bit earlier, but he'll stop at the corner here. See, that seems to be, and then the next one will stop there, and the next one will stop there. So really, it doesn't work that well, because they don't stay within the square. And, for example, if this person, whoever's leaving here, was getting picked up by a taxi, the taxi wouldn't stop up here and allow them to get on and leave. So I'm going to have to rethink that at some point, but maybe just turning this into departure. Maybe that will work better. But I'm not going to do anything during the day whilst the passengers are here, because we know that causes a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Right, so the planning tool, I think I must have left this coloured in. Yes, I did. And this as well. I think somebody actually told me that that's what I'd done, because I couldn't figure it out for myself. It's simple like that. I might knock these toilets down as well and move those over here to this section. That would give us nice big toilets, enough to cater for everybody. But you can see, oh, there we go. See, they knocked the wall down. They've left a gap in the wall there, but that doesn't break security because we've still got the fence. That being said, I'm going to have to do something about this wall, because obviously that's a bit silly. So whilst they've fixed when you attach two buildings together, they haven't quite managed to code in the fact that you might want to wipe out a fence and replace it with a wall. They don't seem to have that capacity. So yes, you can see that aircraft has just gone straight through the ATC centre. And realistically, I mean, moving forward, realistically, I'd like to have the taxiway with a single width boundary either side, so that we don't have this issue. Now, why did he just go there and then turn around and start going back? What's that all about? What are you actually doing, sir? So you've got all your passengers. Oh look, we've got a forced departure option here. So that's weird. So now he's trying to come round this way. What are you doing, sir? What are you doing? How are we going to do this? Okay, let's whack a taxiway in here. Oh, I forgot. It's not like airport CEO. You have to click and hold the button down whilst you drag. I forgot for a moment. I'm going to have that problem quite a lot. So that will fix that problem. Then we can remove this. Clear. Down to grass. That's what we need. Maybe wait until this aircraft has disappeared. No, see, he's doing it as well. Why won't they come into this section here? Is it something to do with this corner, I wonder? A bit concerned about that, I have to be honest. Now, did that actually work? Not sure if that is working or not. Another thing they're going to fix is aircraft taking off on runways. At the moment there's an issue where they sometimes hang off the edge and they're not actually going down the centre of the runway. Now these two have stopped. What is going on? They do get confused, don't they? Most frustrating. Right, so let's speed this up and get this done so that we can actually make some progress today. So once they've put that wall in there, I can knock this fence down and then extend the building by one block. It's a bit of a pain, but you know, it gets done, I suppose. In terms of performance during construction, that seems to be slightly improved. The game is not grinding to a halt just now, which is a good sign. And as far as I can tell, everybody seems to be departing okay. I'm not sure what the red dot represents. But I mean, you can see how busy we are. We are just absolutely chocker. Actual arrival, actual departure. So it arrived early. That can't be right. You can't have aircraft arriving early, can you? And it departed early. So I mean, that's running really well. The real-time flight status is something I'm going to have to keep my eye on to make sure that we've got a really effective running airport. I noticed as well 54.34% in airline interest is not that great, really. And maybe it's because I'm not providing refueling services or something. Although I think I am. I think I've got some refueling vehicles in here. Yeah. So I mean, I do have some fuel trucks, so not sure why they're not that happy with us, but they're not. Okay, well this is interesting. So it seems that they've fixed it to a point. So it's better than it was, but clearly that is not perfect. The issue we've got here now is that they've built... Whoa, okay, it's a little bit glitchy. They've built this tiny section of wall here where the gate is, but where the fence is, they've just built nothing. Now I suppose technically that's correct, because it would, without removing the fence, you're kind of saying I want to build it up to here, but I didn't. I dragged it up to here. So really I was expecting to see a wall there, which is a bit annoying. So anyway, I guess what we're going to do is we're going to wait until all the passengers have gone and our final flights have departed. He tricked me then. He started coming down and then he flew up. And then we'll take this section of wall out and then we can actually build this, which is, you know, 22 minutes into the video. I still haven't started doing the thing that I was planning on doing for the video, so that's a bit of a pain. I suppose we have discussed some of the new features. We've had a look at a couple of new things. Right. I think that's us done. So there we go. We've fixed that taxiway so that that's now not going to overlap with this. I think that's an improvement. Possibly I need to do something here as well. I don't know. The whole thing really needs redesigning. I need to take more time, care and attention over these things. But let's grab the demolish tool. I still find that clicking... I nearly did it. I still find that clicking demolish, clicking on anything within the menu doesn't work first time. You have to keep clicking it and clicking it and clicking it to dismantle that gate, and then we can build our wall. Really? Why can't I build a wall there then? Do I perhaps need to build foundation? So this has changed as well then, because you used to be able to replace that with a wall. That used to work fine. It used to be perfectly happy with that. Now it seems perhaps it's not. Okay, the gate's gone. Good. Right. Well, guys, if you could just finish off building the foundation, that would make things a lot better for everybody. Anytime you like, guys. Anytime you like. I'm not sure whether this is working with deliveries. Maybe I ought to move deliveries down, further down, and have a better system there. Because I can see vehicles getting stuck behind other vehicles doing it this way. There's lots to think about when you're building an airport, I can tell you. Two flashy objects. What are the flashy objects then? What? Look at this, a fancy chair. These, I assume, are for the offices. That's another thing. They fixed the desks in the offices because they were a total mess, weren't they? Nothing lined up with anything. Well, now you'll see that they do line up much better. Just a small change, but a good one. PA two-way speaker. Public address system. Provide announcements, boarding calls, and last-minute information. Helps prevent missed flights. may annoy PAX a bit too. This is a bidirectional speaker that broadcasts 2 cones of sound in opposite directions. Okay. Connects to a PA system amplifier. So there's a lot of stuff I've got to think about building here. Staff doors. It's another thing they've added that was being pretty much desperately needed. Okay, so let's just... Let's scroll up and see. Why was it flashing red then? It was like there was an issue with something, but the issue has fixed itself, perhaps. Okay, not to worry. Let's grab some more of these seats and just finish off doing what we were doing up here. Wow, it's all quiet now, isn't it? Have I paused it by accident? I flipping did as well. Why did I do that? Right, let's grab some bins, because we all know me love me bins. When I was at college, young man, I actually acquired a bin with an ashtray, because I was a bad boy back then and I used to smoke. But it was actually the coolest bin in the world, and everybody wanted one. And it actually, not famous, but it certainly gave me some notoriety. And everybody always asked me where I got the bin from. And it was just like this cylindrical bin, you know, like, well, like you see on college campuses. Not quite sure how I acquired it. Probably one too many cups of tea. Okay, right. So I'm liking the look of this. It looks pretty stylish. There's plenty of colour and stuff. Let's just go here. What does it look like? Environment. There we go. So it's weird because these massive decorative plants don't give off as much green as these little plants, which is so odd. I think it's odd anyway. What would be nice is if I could leave that heat map open whilst working on stuff. That would be cool. What am I going to do here? How am I going to make this more pleasant an area? I don't want to close these walkways. I want to leave them nice and free and open. Is that too much? I don't know. I think that might be a appreciated boost of greenery. Let's kind of have this system here where we have a plant either side of the check-in, booking, boarding desks, whatever they're called. Gates. Gate desks. Are they called gate desks? Can't remember. So that's a massive boost of plantiness. Let's get some... facilities. So let's do an ATM there and an ATM there, like so. And we'll pop one there. Probably a second restaurant in this space, I think is a good idea. Maybe we'll leave the restrooms there for now, because they kind of work, don't they? Just chuck a wall in there, though. Damn it. My goodness me, it's so quiet. It's weird. It's weird that it's so quiet. Okay, good. Right, so I'm actually going to give people a bit more space and a nicer environment to wait in, is the plan. If I can find the right benches. There they are. Right, queues. We need some queues. Let's start with queues. Now, how did I do the queue over here? I don't have a queue over here. Oh, well, that's a bit... Yeah, it's a bit of an issue, isn't it? Must remember to drag and click. Oh, this is a new thing. The queues have this colour index thing, which I'm not completely clear on this. This is what I've done here is a terrible design. This is going to annoy people like you wouldn't believe. Goodness me, what have I built here? Assign to, assign, 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 assign. That being said, you know, I have got 3 gate desks, so hopefully it'll process people pretty quickly. Maybe I'm going to have to take these seats out here, and yeah, actually that might be a good idea. Let's do that. Let's take these seats out, having just put all this stuff in. Let's at least acknowledge the mistake that I've made there, and change that, and then we can fix these queues, which at the moment are horrendous at best. So I think what happens is that you've got a blue and a yellow, which means first class and standard class can use them. And then presumably, if I select that to be just first class, it will change that. Okay, don't ask me what I was doing then. I was just trying to remember how to play the game. So yeah, guys, if you could take this big white thing out of the way, which is what I think was the first thing I asked you to do, then I can actually start moving something. If you take everything else away first and leave that till last, that really gets in my way. You're not listening to me at all, are you? I hope you can hear that lady in the background over the radio. That's pretty cool. She's giving an ATIS reading. I think that's what that was. I wasn't really paying attention. Nice little feature. Nice little bonus there. It's probably been there for a long time, but yeah, just adds to the ambiance. What time is it? 1:30 in the morning. So I should have this finished and ready to go by the end of today. So I think what I might do is just put these queues in so that they go this way and this way, and we don't have that major issue that I've clearly created. I mean, I can expand out this way a little bit, but I think I was thinking about having a runway down here, which I don't know. I don't know about that. I have to think about that one. Have they not taken that? Goodness me, is that the one thing they didn't? Oh my lord, I could have sworn that was the first thing I got rid of. Sat here waiting for them to do it. Come on, come on. I'm not waiting any longer. I'm getting impatient with you now. Right. Whoops. Perfect. Perfect. Perfecto. Ah, no, I did that wrong. Whoops. Come on. This is a new thing as well. Visualize. No, it's not a new thing at all. Shush, man. Okay, cool. Well, listen, I'm going to call that a day, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to just finish this off. We're going to assign to this. Oh, this is another new thing that has to happen. I'd forgotten about this. You need a queue. You need to allow flight queues through. This is actually quite a huge thing. Well, that's weird. Okay, well, listen. So you have first class passengers, you have coach passengers, and now you have flight crews. So you need to make sure that flight crews can get through. Now, flight crews do not need a queue here. It looks to me like right, let's try this again. So, assign to. So that's just for first class passengers. They are a bit bunched up, aren't they? Can I zoom in anymore? This one is going to be for everybody, but not flight crew. I can't seem to take flight crew off this one, which is weird. Do you see? It's like ticked and it stays ticked. So I'm guessing that's just a bug. But that's going to be for everything. That's going to be for everything. And that's going to be for first class and flight crew. There we go. It's weird. I can't tick on it. This one's okay. So, first class passengers and flight crew. I think what I might do then is change this one to be just flight crew, so that we make sure people get through as quickly as possible. So, yeah, we'll assign this to the 2 outer gates as well, and we'll do the same with this one. I think what the problem here is, guys, is that they've built it with the mentality that you're only ever going to have one gate for each, one gate desk for each gate. And where I have 3, it's a bit confused, because if you look here at the assignments, see how you have to do it like 3 times over. It's a bit of, or do you? No, it does seem to work. I don't know. That's something I'm going to have to play with, I guess. It seems to work. I think it's okay. I think it's fine. I think I'm just baffling and waffling on about absolutely nothing at all. So we'll hook this one up. We'll get a flight in for this, and this will be the last thing I do today. This looks a little bit different as well. No point in having it that big. Might as well just go there, because that's all the information. Let's see who really likes us. These guys really like us. Do you have any big flights? 7:47 in the afternoon. We'll take that, and then we'll schedule you for the extra large gate over here. Perfect. Making sure that we don't try and land it at the same time as we're landing all the other aircraft as well. Kushti. Well, let's expand that out. Make sure it's got plenty of time. As soon as this is supposed to be our first class area. And I think that looks pretty good, guys. Hopefully that will work well. And yeah, thank you for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope I was able to highlight at least some of the changes that are coming, and show that SimAirport has improved, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new UI. So please join me again for the next episode, when we'll continue sorting this area out, I guess. Until then, take care of yourselves, and goodbye for now.